Peace, everybody. This is Man. How everybody doing today? Today while we on this walk, we on the nature walk, we're gonna talk about conjuring the spiritual forces from within while I'm walking. And we're gonna find us a nice spot to sit back and relax and have this midday conversation about conjuring spiritual forces from within. For the most part, we all are seeking some type of self-transformation when doing our root work, when doing spiritual work. The whole objective is for us to actually find within ourselves the potentialities, the opportunities, the motivation, the determination. You see, we ought to find those things from within our own selves. A lot of times we've been taught a blessing, some type of abundance. We are taught to seek these things from entities and spirits and people and situations that are outside of ourselves. The core idea of obtaining some type of spiritual transformation is to bring that transformation from within, to not attribute or attach that transformation to anything that's undeserving. And a lot of times we give credit to spirits, we give credit to people and situations that really don't deserve the credit, because the actual power, the actual energy, the actual motivation and determination came from you. And you gave something else, someone else, the credit for your hard work. And this is one of the mistakes that we make when we are searching for a sense of spirituality. We have to give ourselves credit for what we do and stop giving spirits and other entities credit for our hard work. A lot of times we petition spirits, and we think that because we petition a spirit to do a particular thing for us, that this spirit is actually doing it alone. That's not true. The reality is, when we petition a spirit, we petition that spirit's power, that spirit's energy. You see, we petition that spirit's power and that spirit's energy for ourselves, for us to use, for us to transmute and transform that spirit's energy into within our own selves, and we channel that energy into our lives, and we affect change and manifestations. And this is how it's actually done. A lot of times, like I said, people like to put all of the work, all of the credit on spirits, when all we actually doing is drawing in that spiritual force, drawing in that spiritual power within ourselves. When we draw the spiritual power and force within ourselves, what ends up happening is we change our mode of operation. And as we change our mode of operation, the way we do things daily, we actually change our destiny. You see, changing your mind is magic within its own right. A lot of people don't understand that. When you change your mind about a situation, when you change your mind about something, a circumstance or situation, you actually put the energy out into the universe that you no longer accept this reality, and that there's a new reality to come into the place of this old reality. The thing about changing our mind is, when we change our mind, we change our reality. So we have to be very careful in which direction we're changing our mind, or we're changing our reality. Because sometimes we change our reality thinking it's for the benefit of ourselves, but in all actuality, we change our reality to further promote the self-destruction. You know, we often do that because we are multidimensional beings, you know. And in root work, you know, one thing about root work is that it's based on spiritualities, you know. Root work is not based on a spirituality. You see, It's based on spiritualities, meaning that there were multiple spiritual systems that were involved in creation of root working. So when you see a traditional root worker, what you're looking at is an amalgamation of various ancestral knowledge, an amalgamation of various ancestral wisdoms. When we see these things, then we turn around and say, well, this is what it is. This is an amalgamation of all of the ancestors that were in this person's bloodline, or all of the ancestors that were in this people's bloodline, all expressing themselves through the root working of that particular person's bloodline. You see? So when we're talking about our minds and keeping our minds in tune with our culture and keeping our minds in tune with what we're supposed to be doing and transforming ourselves, we definitely got to stay focused in the midst of all of that. Because there's a balance. There's a balance in everything. You know, like in nature, there's a balance. You know, even the trees have to be balanced. You see? Trees have to be balanced. Even the root system of a tree has to be balanced. Because in order for this tree to stand upright, perpendicular, so to say, the roots have to be equally distributed on both sides, for the right and to the left. And the roots that go down the middle got to go straight down the middle to keep the tree standing straight up. And this is the science of roots. When we work in roots, you know, the whole idea is to stand straight up. You know, like the Masons say, stand in a perpendicular. You have to stand straight up. But that straight stance is not a physical stance. That straight stance is a spiritual stance. To stand straight up means to connect both heaven and earth. And that connection is for you to take the material side of yourself and connect the material side of yourself with the spiritual side of yourself to create that balance, because you can't be too material and you can't be too spiritual. It's the perfect balance. That's why root workers are not holy. Root workers are some of the root workers I've known and I've met over the years, man. They're people. They're not holy. They're regular people with gifts. See what I'm saying? Regular people with gifts. So I didn't even mean to come over here. I just happened to walk over here while I'm talking. But usually when I'm walking out, I normally find interesting things laying around. And this right here, what I'm looking at, the angel broke. Here, the angel broke. You see? And what they did, somebody did something. They came back and they put the wing on the head. They put the wing on one side and the other wing that's broken over here, they placed that here. See? Once again, I always tell people, when you come to the cemetery, don't be touching people's stuff. Don't touch it. You don't know what the hell this person had going on when they probably broke the wings and put it there. You know, definitely don't want to touch that stuff. But let's get to the word conjure. I'm walking to the store, so y'all gonna roll with me with this conversation. Conjure. You know, the word con, you know, it goes deep. You know, you can be a con man, you can be conscious, confused, consistent. You know, that word con is a prefix, you know, to be into something, you know, be into it. So we conjuring, we calling up something. But where you calling this something from? See, this is what a lot of people miss. Like, where are you calling something from when you say you're a conjurer? Where are you calling it from? The astral plane, the spirit world, the world of the dead, or maybe from within. The whole idea is that all of these worlds are interconnected. All of the worlds are interconnected. So when you talk about the astral world, you're talking about the physical world, spiritual realm. All of these realms are interconnected because it's only one. Everything is one. Everything is one, unity. That's why unity is such a big conversation. Because connecting and unifying, when people unify, when forces unify, it makes the body stronger. Makes the body stronger. It's just like the human body. The human body has various systems within the body. Endocrine glandular system, the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the lymphatic system. We have many different systems in our body, but yet none of the systems naturally contradict one another. You see? That's because of the unifying principle. Systems unify, and because the systems unify, they work together. You see? So when you're working a system, that system has to be in tune with the other surrounding systems. And this is how the body works. And this is how nature works. So you can have many different systems, but all of these different systems will be explaining and expounding on the same reality. Nature, life, same reality. Yeah, I'm live down here. I'm open for some questions too, because I'm walking and talking. So if y'all got some questions, man, y'all can pour it on me, man. What's up, Florida water? Everything good. Good morning, Candy. Yamoja, good morning. Peace, Jackie. What's going on? What y'all got going on today? I know it's, let me slide down this hill. Look at this little hill right there, man. Let's see if I can get down there. Yeah, that's good. I ain't tumbled down the hill live on video on YouTube. It's real neat. I just hanging out on the way to the store, y'all. All right. Nature. Y'all know I be digging nature all day long. A lot of good things going on, especially when you deal with the water flows. Look how the water flowing in this one. Now, normally, to keep y'all up on the water flow, normally you have to watch the flow of the water. Sometimes the water flow to the right, sometimes it flow to the left. When you're dealing with a stream or something like that, pay close attention, because the water do flow in different directions. One day the water might be flowing this way, and then another day it might be flowing that way. You see what I'm saying? And this is how you read the energies. Remember, I think I previously told y'all about reading the patterns in nature, from reading the little tiny signs you can read to figure out the energy signatures, man. That's important in conjure. But back to the conjure conversation. Everybody conjure. Everybody. Conjure is like whooping up. What you whooping up. Like when you in the kitchen, and most of y'all women, y'all good cooking ass woman. Most of y'all, when y'all be in that kitchen, whooping up with your blender and whooping it up, whooping up that cake mix, whooping up that apple pie, whooping up that cornbread, you conjuring. Because you whooping various chemicals. You whooping up various elements, various things, various elements, various ingredients, and then you have a certain level of power that you put into it. Because as you cooking, as you whooping it up because you feeding your family. But you feeding your family based on what? Based out of love. You don't feed your family because you have to. You feed your kids because you love them. So that energy enters the food. That's conjure. You see? So when we out here doing the work, excuse me. When we out there doing the work, we mixing ingredients and elements out of nature. And then we add our emotionality to it, our emotions. People say intent. I don't use the word intentions, because like I said previously, many of us intended to be millionaires by the age of 21. And we still on that path, and we well over 21. So your intention is just based on what you want to do. I intend to go to the store. I don't have to go to that store now, but I intend to go down there. But there could be obstacles in my path on the way there that would ensure that I never get to that store. if these multitude of obstacles fall on my path. Now, my intention was to get there, but I didn't because of obstacles. That's why I don't deal with intentions. I deal with a mind state that rolls straight through obstacles. And what that means, you don't intend to do it. You, like Nike, you just do it. So if I say I'm going to the store, no matter how many obstacles fall on my path, I'm still going down there. I'm still going there. I can get hit by a car. Okay, as long as they don't kill me, I'm gonna get up and keep walking to that store. That's determination. And this is the kind of energy, kind of force that you really, really need to put into your conjure. Because when we conjuring anything, you know, and I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna tell y'all something. We focus, a lot of people like to focus more on conjuring spirits instead of conjuring potentials for your own self. You don't have to conjure a spirit, you really don't. You can conjure determination. You can conjure wisdom. You can conjure bright ideas. And out of these things, these energy signatures that you conjure has to be connected to a spirit. Less danger for yourself. Less danger for yourself. So that's one of the things that that we should focus on when we're doing our conjure work. Is like focus more on conjuring motivation for yourself. Like get off the spirit thing and deal more with the energy. Because there's a lot of people out here trying to deal with spirits and don't know what these forces are about, don't know the history of them, don't know the practicality of them, but just because it's trendy, people want to conjure spirits. Well, I'm here to tell you today, you don't have to conjure a spirit to change your life. You don't. You don't have to conjure a spirit. You can conjure an emotion that can change your whole life. One simple emotion you can conjure. Conjure some happiness. Because when you conjure happiness, you don't have to go see a root worker to get your love situation taken care of. Because that ultimate love is going to generate from you. Once you look in the mirror, once you love you, then you open up the potentiality for everybody else to love you. You see? But if you don't generate that energy initially yourself, there is no possible way you can externally draw it to you. You see? No way. Now let's go over here for a second, sit down on the park and finish kicking it. You know, that conjure, that reality. All right, let's see what it do. All right, Lynette, I'm to your question. Lynette says, how does one come to learn the herbs and plants of nature and use in their work? Studying. You know, there's a lot of roots and herbs that grow in dignity in every state in South Carolina. I had the opportunity to go, not South Carolina, in America, but I had the opportunity to travel, you know, and go into different states, and I see different plants that grow indigenously in different states. I think there's a registry, for the most part, there's a indigenous plant registry that everybody should get into. I think it's provided by your local state government, and they tell you all the indigenous plants that grow inside that state. And those are the plants, I think, in my own opinion, that people should use in their root work, because root work is based on what's readily accessible to people to use. So whereas in one place, the roots and herbs that were accessible were different from in other places. One time we had this conversation once about the High John root in respects to the life everlasting. Now, High John root is used in hoodoo. Yes, it is. But in certain areas, certain regions of locality, High John root was not popular. So therefore, High John root wasn't used by the hoodoo practitioners in certain areas. One example is in South Carolina. Being born and raised in South Carolina, one thing I can say for certain, I saw High John root, but when I saw High John root, the High John root came from people that came from places where it was prominent, and they brought it with them. But all the local practitioners that I knew and grew up and was raised with, they were all working with Life Everlasting, because Life Everlasting was so in abundance. It grew wild in Goose Creek. It grew wild in Somerville, Bruford, Savannah, all the area where I'm from. It grew wild, so everybody was using it. You see, there wasn't no Amazon. There wasn't no eBay. There wasn't no Original Botanicals. You couldn't order this stuff. You had to go out in the woods. There wasn't even no internet. So you had to go out in the woods and go find the indigenous roots and herbs that the local practitioners were using. So that's the original way to do it. Learn the plants and herbs in your state, in your area, in your backyard, and all of that, okay? Now, let's see. I hope I answered your question, Lynette. Florida Water asked me, I seen a video you made, steady leading playing cards in the cemetery. How that work? I can't tell you. Panda Bear, good morning. Good morning. How you feeling? Yeah, we don't give no secrets to nothing we doing. If you want to learn the exact secrets of how we do things over here at Swamp Water Roots, you should contact me at medicemail21@gmail.com. and we can set up and see what we can do. I give private sessions for people that already know their root work and just kind of need some guidance and mentoring on which direction they should go. If that's you, then definitely give me a call and we can discuss some things and work it out where I can actually help mentor you in your root working journey. Other than that, the only classes that I will be providing very soon is classes strictly for beginners. I think focusing more on the beginners and root working for people to understand how to open up the channels to communicate with their ancestors and things like that. I think that's more important for me to teach people so that they can learn how to work with their ancestors and ancestral spirits, so they can get off all of this chasing chasing spirits out of books, you know what I mean? And chasing spirits you don't know. Because like I've always said, and I'm very strong on this point, and I know this point here probably got me in hot water with a lot of people, but I'm very strong on this point, and that there was an ancestor that told you what a nature spirit is. There was an ancestor that taught you and told you what an Orisha is. There was an ancestor that told you what a voodoo spirit is. So for the most part, the ancestors are definitely the point of contact for us in root working. You see what I'm saying? Because when we conjure, we are conjuring from within our own ancestral bloodline. You see? Because that's the closest level of energy to us. It's in us. So we talk about our DNA and our DNA patterns and how your kids look like your mama, how your kids look like your daddy. Well, those are recreation of their spiritual energies because they live in you. So it's easy for you and your husband or you and your wife to have a child that don't look like neither one of y'all. How many times that done happen? You have a child, this baby don't look like neither one of y'all. Baby don't look like your mama, baby don't look like his mama. Baby don't look like his daddy, baby don't look like your daddy. The damn baby look like the great-grandmama and she been dead for 50 years. But the baby look just like her. Because that's a recreation of the energy, and that's the science of the ancestors returning in the Geechee Gullah culture. You mess around and have a baby, there's a few things about babies that I can tell you about. One, if there is a funeral, somebody die in your family and somebody pregnant, people don't be letting the pregnant people come around dead bodies. That's a no-no. You don't do that. You don't let pregnant people come around dead bodies. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because when there is a spirit leaving and a spirit entering at the same time, there's always a conflict of interest. Because the spirit leaving can try to inhabit the body of the spirit coming in. And that's what creates the problem. So for that reason, you know, a lot of old people in the South, they'll tell you you pregnant, don't be going around nobody funerals and wakes, because your baby gonna mess around coming out looking like the dead man. And that's spiritual, you know? You can take it as superstition if you wanna. I've seen it. Yeah, man, I can't wait to get back to South Carolina, y'all. You know what I mean? Yeah, Lynette, definitely. You know, South Carolina be jumping. You know, especially with the beaches and stuff like that. You know, the beaches be off the chain. But yeah, let me finish this journey. I open for questions, man. Why y'all got me live, man? I mean, like, feel free. Definitely feel free to ask me some questions, man. You know, I'm good to go. Oh yeah, Latoya, you better not get pregnant and go around your dead body. I'm trying to tell you. Too much spiritual ramifications behind that one. You know what I mean? Definitely. You know, listen, let me show y'all something, right? I'm gonna show you something. Let's see if I can get it right there. The ground is kind of wet. Let me show y'all something. Don't y'all know there are grades of dirts? Well, there are different grades of dirts, right? Like, dirts have, and now we're gonna talk about the color spectrum in the dirts. I'm gonna keep moving, but we're gonna talk about the color spectrum in dirts. Now you got white dirt, you got tan dirt, you got beige dirt, you got dark brown dirt, you got a gorgeous looking color dirt, and then you have that red Georgia dirt. You know what I mean? So I think it's like 5, 6 different variations. Now, when we talk about the variations of the dirt, now we still talk about conjure now. We talk about the variations of dirt. What's the properties of the various dirts? What's the difference between using the sand from beach and the dirt from a playground? What's the difference in the coloration of the dirts? What's the difference in the minerals within the dirts? See? Let me share something with y'all about dirt. Sand in particular. Sand is basically crushed quartz crystals. Basically. So sand is a bunch of crushed quartz crystals. Crystal. So when we talk about using quartz, I see the huge quartz. I got a few of my own, the big quartz crystals and stuff like that there. But we don't know, we walking on a crystal planet. That's a lot of people don't know that. We're walking on a crystal planet. Go do some research on the properties, the mineral composition of dirt. Dirt has a crystalline structure, okay? Interesting, because your DNA helix also have a crystalline structure. Okay? Interesting. Because your pineal gland also have a crystalline structure. You see it? Now let's move on some more. The carbon atoms also have what? A crystalline structure. You see? So we definitely are crystal beings living on a crystal planet per se. Literally. That's why it's important to understand the science of things. Because when we understand the science, we understand who we are on a deeper level. On a deeper level. Because the science is in the earth. Every spiritual tradition has always told us that the science is in the earth. So when we look down at the dirts, and we pull this dirt, we look under this dirt in the microscope, and we see tiny crystals. What are we to say? What are we going to say? Well, how does it work? How do you think the earth has energy? Earth has energy because it's a crystal planet. Our eyes and our mind are trained to perceive a crystal, or quartz crystals, clear light crystal, that has a point on it. That's a crystal. No, Crystals come in different forms, shapes, fashions, you know, and even metabolisms. You know, you have liquid crystals. That's what your blood is. Your blood, your DNA, is basically liquid crystals. It's a liquid in your blood that bonds and binds to other chemicals that makes it crystalline. See? Interesting. All right, let me ask a few more questions. I see some. Okay, Chrissy Love says, how does a person know that their ancestors are working on their behalf? Do they give you signs? Definitely in your dreams. In your dreams, you're going to get some of the biggest signs of your spiritual work working, of your spiritual path opening or closing. Visions. Visions is something that a lot of us don't really get into because our mind is so externalized. Like, we got to think about going to work. We got to think about going to school. We got to think about putting these bills, getting these bills paid and everything like that. Those distractions take away from your spiritual side. You see? So what your ancestors do to keep the proper balance, you dream of things that needs to be fixed in your life. You dream of things that are potential problems, and you dream of answers at the same time. The problem is being able to decipher these things, having the spiritual wisdom and the aptitude to be able to decipher what these dreams and these messages really mean. Because for the most part, we've been externalized so much that we've lost a lot of the interpretations of the internal processes that take place within us. So when we communicating with the ancestors and trying to build that connection, when we trying to build that real strong connection, we have to be persistent and consistent. Consistency helps. Consistency pays and paves the way for that true connection to take place. You can't work with your ancestors on Monday and then say, oh, I got the new job already, so I'm good. I ain't got to come back and work with my ancestors until something happens at the new job and I need more help. See, we have developed an idea, a behavior of spiritual dependency. And it's all based on when something bad happens, then I go run for help. You see? But in the African paradigm, the way that our spiritual systems work is that we practice preventative measures. So we're going to work with our ancestors every day so that when that situation, that issue comes up, we saw that issue last week, Thursday. We saw that issue last month on the 3rd. We've been saw that issue and we've been preparing ourselves to deal with it so that it comes in and goes out really fast. And this is why building a strong connection, because you building a connection with your spiritual guardians. Your ancestors are your spiritual guardians, okay? So when you build that relationship with them very strong, they're gonna communicate with you and let you know, hey, something's wrong. You know what I mean? There's various type of ways of communicating with them, but all in all, dream work is the most natural, the most natural and fluid way of working with your ancestors. All right, let me get another question. How do you find other ancestors if your husband's parents are alive, but I don't understand that one, SW Watt. We're gonna get back. We're gonna get back to you. Just rephrase the question for me. All right, Panda Bear says, medicine man, I had burned some white copal resin and the smell had aired out. The next night, I kept having strong whiffs of that copal resin coming to face. Was that spirit doing that? Panda, I'm gonna tell you something like this. First of all, don't be conjuring nothing in your house. The only spirits that should be in your house is your ancestral spirits. Everybody else, sit them outside. I don't care how good they say they are to you and all of this other stuff. Sit them outside. You know what I mean? I personally don't work with no spirits inside my house. Only spirits that got the free reign to walk around and do what they need to do in the house is ancestors. That's it. Keep all other spirits outside. You'll find that that'll work out better for you, because you have to give all your spirits space. And giving your spirit space in the house, ancestors. Nature spirits belong outside. All of them. All the nature spirits belong outside. All right, hi, Medicine Man. Hey, Miss Lunara. Emoji Blue. Every day, how do you work with them every day? Lynette, that's a good question. How do you work with your ancestors every day? We have goals and objectives we're trying to achieve, right? And in the process of trying to achieve our goals and objectives, we need spiritual force. We need some kind of energy behind our ideas and our objectives. So by working with the ancestors on a daily basis, what that means is when you get up, the same way you brush your teeth, the same way you wash your face, the same way you know what I mean, you put the socks on and lotion up your body and stuff like that. There's the same ritualized daily process that we need to get into when working with the ancestors. So there's various things you can do in your altar. For example, daily readings. I normally tell my students, and I'm gonna share this with y'all, I normally tell my students, do a daily reading. It doesn't have to be intense. It just have to be something as simple as, okay, what kind of day will I have today at work? Will I have a good day at work? And if they say no, then you'll be like, okay, if I'm not gonna have a good day, is it gonna be the regular, usual BS at work? Yeah. And then you're trying to pinpoint, well, who's gonna be the problem today at work? Boom. It might say Tanya. Tanya might be the problem today at work. So when you go to work, you keep your eye on Tanya, because you know she coming with some bullshit sometime before lunch. So preventative measures is important. So your ancestors will give you those heads up, little tiny things. And sometimes we think the little small things are not worth asking about. But in actuality, they are, because we all know in life, little tiny small things can grow into huge problems. All right? Yeah, so Lynette, working with your ancestors every day is just basically, you know, you're going, asking morning questions, you're doing a reading, asking morning questions. We consecrate pennies, we use pennies, like 4 pennies for the readings, and we do basic yes or no questions. And we ask the spirit certain things about our day, about business plans, about objectives. Should I take my son to the pool? You would never know some of the answers that you will get. Because you can get up in the morning and it'll be a nice sunny day, 98 degrees. And you ask your ancestors, should I take my son to the pool? And they say no. And you're sitting there like, hold up. No, it's 98 degrees. Oh man, I'm going to the pool anyway. And you go to the pool, and your child may almost have a near-death experience. But you don't understand why they said no about something as simple as going to the pool. You don't understand why they said no, but now you do after your child had that near-death experience. They were trying to warn you, trying to give you a sign, an omen. But most times if we don't ask, we're not going to get an answer. You see? The rule of life is a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And that's in the spiritual realm too. You can have 100 spirits, but if you ain't opening up your mouth to make nothing happen, or if you ain't bonded with your spirits in a way that you don't have to open your mouth, that they automatically just know what to do, then you're gonna be in trouble. Because you got to build relationships. Everything is based on relationships. You can't get a husband or a girlfriend if you don't court her or him first. You got to have a relationship with the person first before you get anything done. And this is the point of working with spirits. You have to build a relationship with spirits, with nature spirits. With ancestors, you're already connected. All you gotta do is call up the closest one to you. And when I say call up the closest one to you, that means if your mom's passed, if your dad's passed, if your grandmother passed, people that walked with you in life, people that hugged and kissed and changed your dirty diapers. These are the people that have your strongest back in the spirit realm, okay? Strongest back. So if they got your strongest back in the spirit realm, then they got the strongest back on earth. So those are the kind of people that you need to be calling, because that's guaranteed. Nobody have to tell you, oh, the spirit will do this for you, or the spirit will do that for you if you do this and you do this and you do that. Nah. Your ancestors going to do it out of love. What nature spirit you hear love you? Don't even get in that conversation. Don't even let me do it. But anyway, let's go to the next question. How do you find your other ancestors if your grandparents are alive, but you know nothing about their parents? Well, talk to your grandparents. You know, and that's one of the things that I try to tell people all the time. Talk to the old people in your family. And people be like, well, I don't want to talk to my grandmother about roots. She's a Christian. Of course you don't want to talk to your Jehovah's Witness grandmama about working roots, because she don't understand it like that. You see what I'm saying? One of the approaches that we found that actually worked in getting information from old people was that we would actually go to the old people and say, hey, Granny, remember back in the 1960s when y'all couldn't go, when you couldn't go to the doctor or anything like that? What did y'all used to do for medicine when you got sick, like if your stomach hurt or, you know, you got a cold or something? And that's when they start talking about, oh yeah, this is the plant we used to go get, the fever leaf, and we used to rub it all over our body and this, that, and the other, you know, and then you learn like, hold up, Granny Jehovah's Witness? Or Granny know how to, shit, Granny know about that work. You know why? Because it's perceived different. So if you go around old people talking, Granny, how to work my roots, how to work my hoodoo, their minds are programmed against that, because it's been a sabotage of the whole idea that this is evil. So when you put hoodoo or voodoo or working roots together with our culture, when you bring it to some people, they're going to be antagonistic towards it. They're going to be like, man, that's that devil work, because they were programmed like that. So the approach has to be different. So when you talk to old people, talk to them about some of the medicines and how they used to heal themselves before they could actually go into the doctor office and the clinics. And you'll be amazed at some of the remedies that they give you from the medicinal aspect. You know, a lot of old people know how to make medicine. They just stopped making it because, you know, they got Social Security. They can go to the doctor office and, you know, and get pills. So it became more convenient for the people to actually forget their knowledge while making medicine. Because, they, like I said, you can walk into the office and doctor office and get that Thorazine real quick. All right. The next question. Solomon Divine says, Medicine Man, when working with ancestors, should I only work with the ones I got along with? That is a great, great, great question. Now, without getting into detail about if you got along with the person or not, sometimes our idea of getting along with someone or, you know, having a problem with someone is just, sometimes it's too much, especially after the person passed. A lot of times things are forgiven way before a person passed. So when they're dead, when they're in the spirit realm, it's like, do we still hold on to our initial problem with that person even though they have gone? You know, for the most part, that's something that we need to answer within our own self, you know, about that. But if you have a problem with someone, it just depends on how big that problem was. You know, how big that problem was. But one thing I'm gonna say about the ancestors, that every ancestor ain't good. Just like every spirit that you can call out here ain't right. You see what I'm saying? All of us got that dope shooting, crack smoking uncle. When that dope shooting, crack smoking uncle dropped dead and he crossed over to the spirit realm, then what? You see? Was you getting along with your uncle then? Yeah or no? You see what I'm saying? So every ancestor is not a good one. Now me, I'll work with my dope shooting crackhead uncle. There's ways to work with him. There's ways to also work with people in your ancestral bloodline that weren't as close to you as you would like them to have been. But the point is, when you call forth your closest ancestors, any ancestors that come along with them support you. You see? Now there are ancestors out there that you shouldn't call. Like I said, if you had a crazy psychotic, now let's change the scenario. If you had a crazy psychotic mentally ill uncle, who was running around in the neighborhood killing innocent people because he had a mental disease, I wouldn't call him up. I wouldn't. Because if that mental disorder lands on you and you can't get it off you, you're on your way for a first-class flight to the psychiatric ward. And that's why, for that reason, we have to be very careful about who or what we call out. All right, let's go. Is it true that trickster spirits can disguise themselves as your ancestors? I've heard that, right? I've heard that. But I can only give you my own personal view on that, because that's a very broad question. Because spirits deal with people and handle people according to their energy level. If your energy level is low, when you conjure up a spirit, what happens is anything can come through, because they're looking at you. They don't see you. They see your energy level. They're looking at, oh, who is this weak motherfucker right here calling us? So let's go over there and see what we got going on. Let's just, stir up some shit in his life, or give them some information they think is true, but it ain't. Or give them some information that that we know they're gonna follow and fuck their self up while we sitting back laughing in the cut. Okay, that's a trickster spirit doing these things to you. Now, an ancestor that does not want to be disturbed, or an ancestor that is mentally disturbed and died mentally disturbed, you call that person up. If he died mentally disturbed and then you call him up, he's gonna wake up mentally disturbed. So now what? So we have to be very meticulous about who we call him. And like I said, when we call forth ancestors, we call forth the ones that are closest to us in life. The ones you had the good times with, the ones you have the memories with, you call them up. And even friends, because I've had the question would say, well, I'm not close with my family, medicine man, but my best friend was like my sister. And can I put her on my ancestral altar? Spiritually, yes. Yes, you can. Yeah. If you and this person, y'all not be blood related, but y'all were so tight, y'all manifested the supreme level of friendship in life. When that person died, that person is still your friend. You see? Still got love for you in the spirit realm. So when you call that person up, they're still coming for you. Just like if you text them, right? If you text your friend right now, your friend texts back in 20 seconds. What's up? What's going on? It's the same thing in the spirit realm. So, I would encourage people to work with, call forth the spirits of the people that were closest and the best people to you in life. Definitely. All right, this medicine man, I almost been on there for an hour. I already at the store answering a few more questions. If y'all got a few, drop them on me. Other than that, we're gonna sign out. All right. So y'all have a good day. This medicine man, on our daily walk to the store. You know what I mean? I don't live too far from the store. I'm down there by the 7-Eleven. This is no means promoting 7-Eleven. No means. But I'm going to the store, do what I do, and I'll get back with y'all a little later. We got some root working going down today. Big time, man. A lot of love work going down. Everybody in love, you know what I mean? Everybody in love, you know what I mean? So we about to get some things done today. Have some fun. Communicate with the ancestors, and I'm gonna get back with y'all in a few more hours, man. We're going to do some dope readings. I got a destiny reading I'm gonna share with y'all today, and I'm gonna pick somebody live on when I get back to the house. I'm gonna do a live reading, man. I'm gonna pick one of y'all out of my comment thread, and I'm gonna give somebody a live destiny reading on YouTube. I think that'll be interesting. So who don't mind getting read live on YouTube? Definitely leave a comment down there, and I'm gonna give you a free live destiny reading. We're gonna see some of the things in your path that needs to be changed, and we're gonna go through some of the issues so people can see from a deeper aspect what it really means to have a reading and the type of level of information you can receive and the remedy you can receive and how to use the information from a destiny reading to change your life. because people getting readings after readings after readings just to confirm and confirm and confirm shit they already know. You see, so I'm going to expose you guys to a new level of reading. I'm going to up the ante on your readers to give y'all working solutions. Not just stories about, oh yeah, he's here, he's there. Oh, I see him and he's with her right now. Man, fuck all that shit. You know, what we're gonna do, we're gonna get deep down into the bone marrow of why you need a reading. Not because you're trying to get somebody back, but because you're trying to get yourself back. You see? You ain't chasing him, you're chasing your own spirit. So this is what we're gonna get to. Because once you correct your own spiritual issue, any issue that you have in your social life will correct itself. For sure and for certain. This medicine, man. We're going to get back with our live destiny reading in about 2 hours from now. Y'all stay focused, stay tuned. That's how it going down. Peace, love, and hair grease. It's medicine, man. Y'all know how we do. It's YouTube. Peace.